Have you ever wanted a miniature on your game table that you could switch out pieces of? If so, this video is going to be for you. This is going to be Dungeons & Dragons miniatures with interchangeable parts. Hi guys, I'm DM Dunn, and today I'm going to show you how I made a miniature with interchangeable pieces. And what I did is I had a Hydra that I 3D printed. I purchased this STL file off of an artist that created it, and it came with multiple heads. Not only did it have multiple heads, but it came with multiple head options. Clearly what the players would find first, with the teeth and the face all put together, but they also had these bloody stumps for whenever they did enough damage and killed a head or lopped off a head. And with the Hydra, if it stays alive at the beginning of its turn, 2 heads can grow back. Now it didn't grow multiple heads, but it came with 3 with the faces on there, and then 3 options with it chopped off. Now instead of printing out many different versions of this model, I was wondering, the question was, can I make one body with interchangeable heads? And that's what I did. And in order to do so is I put magnets inside of the necks so that I could switch the pieces out, just like so. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Is how I did that. And so what I did, if you've seen some of my other videos, I have some magnets that I use for my crafting. However, those magnets were a little bit too big for this purpose, as these necks are quite small and quite skinny. So I purchased some smaller magnets. I'll put a link down in my description below with these magnets in case you want to get them, and you can just link right to them. And I have a small rotary tool, and there were 3 pieces that I used. I'll put a picture of the 3 pieces. The round cutting disc, because one piece of this model had the bump, the other side had like a hole that it would fit into that you would normally glue it together. I just didn't glue the head pieces on, so I used the cutting tool to cut off the bump that had the bump, and then I used I found it to be the best technique after I tried a few of them. I have one firm drill bit piece, grinder piece, I don't know, it's like metal and it just kind of like grinds it, but it has like a pointy ice cream cone shape. And I used that to create the hole where I wanted the center of the magnet to be. And then I had this round ball on the tip, and it was big enough that it was as big as my magnets that I got, so I used that to finish making the hole big enough so that the magnet could go inside. Now, in order to glue the magnets in, I did the same technique that I used to glue the different pieces, or to adhere the different pieces to the models together, is a technique that I've learned because of 3D printing called resin welding. And I'll show some of the videos of me doing that too. I just take some of the liquid resin on a cotton swab, put it on the 2 different pieces that want to get connected together, hold them in place. Then you grab a UV light. In this example, I actually bought a small flashlight versus my big curing light, and you can put the light right on there and it'll basically weld them together. And so I did that with the magnets as well, to get the magnets inside of both the body as well as the heads of the Hydra. Obviously, it should go without saying, but you want to make sure when you're working on one piece of head and the neck, you want to make sure that the opposite pieces are attracting versus repelling. And so I just glue one of them in, and then take the other magnet, make it attach, and then take it off and glue it into the other piece, making sure it's facing the right way. And then those pieces will be able to connect instead of repel each other. So don't make that mistake, because that'll be hard to fix. So make sure the magnets that are going to be connecting the pieces are working in the correct direction. Yeah, all of that stuff. So aside from that, the only other difficult part was painting. I'm not an expert painter, and this model was supposed to be used on my game table with my players. It's not going to be put into a competition or anything. So trying to get the color on the necks to match, I just painted obviously one set of heads at a time with the body, and then I took those heads off and put the other heads on. So the body got a little bit of extra paint as I was using my airbrush. But you just do the best you can. Make it match up. Again, it's not perfect. I wasn't trying to make it perfect. I was trying to make it look good enough. That I like to get is the wow factor from my players. And when I put this on the table, I had the regular faces, and unfortunately my players weren't doing as much damage in one round to lop a head off, but eventually they got one. And when I switched it over and put the bloody stump on there, I got a little ooh and I got a little ah, and it made me happy. It made me all warm and fuzzy inside. And for me, that's what crafting is all about, is making sure the players get something that's pretty exciting and that they think is really neat. And so that's what I did with that. Now, I believe that this is a technique that can be used on other things as well. I've seen other miniatures that you can buy, like say for a hero that has a head with without a helmet and a head with a helmet. Same technique can be used. Just put it in the neck and on the body, and that way you can be able to use both of the heads if and when you want to. Or maybe you're switching out somebody holding a sword and you want to be able to have them switch to a battle axe or something else. I think this magnet technique, if you look at your minis and find places where you can have a separation, if there's not one there naturally because it has to be glued together, you can actually go ahead and cut and create a separation point as well and do that on your own. So I just wanted to send the technique out there. Go ahead and write some comments down below. Give us a thumbs up, a like. You can also help us out by using our Amazon affiliate links. If you're going to buy anything from Amazon anyways, it doesn't cost you anything extra and it does help us out, so please click our links. If you want to help us out, you can be super generous and become a Patreon at patreon.com/dmdone. And we are trying to live stream our game sessions on Twitch every other Fridays at 7:30 Pacific time as well. And we're also posting them here on the Facebook page as well if you're not able to catch it live on Twitch. Guys, we thank you so very much. And until next time, have more D&D fun with DM Done.